T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
It's that day of the week that so many of you have been waiting for. Me too. It's a football Friday, everybody. The usual gang is here. And happy holidays, by the way. Merry Christmas if you observe and celebrate. Yeah, Football Friday means Christmas for football fans here on the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network. A lot of levels of football to get to. Kevin the Medium is back from his jungle vacation. He survived. And I survived to bring you another day. Jim Barker coming up in hour 2 from the Toronto Argonauts to talk some CFL, NFL, college football, and what have you. And Joe 747 Gunnis is going to be with us to play Deal or No Deal Week 16 in the National Football League, which got underway with a bang last night. But Kev, listen, before we get down to the nuts and bolts of the hardcore football talk, welcome back, sir, to the Great White North. Tell the viewers, if you don't mind, a brief recap of your jungle cruise vacation.
It wasn't a cruise. It was just going to the jungle, living in a treehouse with no walls. And it was not the smartest plan I've ever had in my life. When I make a mistake, I own it. And I have to own this one. It wasn't good. It was loud. It was obnoxious. Jungle creatures do not respect the human sleep cycle. As soon as it gets dark, they make noise.
Yeah. I'm not sure, frankly. I don't know what you were expecting, but what I will tell you is you either win in life or you learn. I think I texted you that the second you touched down on Canadian soil. I'm like, hey, I'll live and learn. And you've learned. You've lived and you've learned. That's a win, Kev.
Yes, we learned that we like being pampered. And the next 2 or 3 holidays, we'll be on cruise ships where we're pampered.
Okay, good. Well, the what you and the lovely Angela deserve. Okay, let's get going on a Football Friday. We've got all levels of football to talk about, especially here in the Canadian Hour on Game Plus TV. Number one, we'll start with the National Football League. Sam Darnold connected with Jackson Smith and Jigba for a touchdown in overtime and then converted the winning 2-point convert, and the Seattle Seahawks rallied from a 16-point fourth quarter deficit to stun the LA Rams 38-37 on Thursday Night Football. The Seahawks went 3 for 3 on 2-point conversions to help themselves to a 1-game lead in the NFC West over LA. Before I get to your thoughts, let's hear from all the ballers out there that are watching right now. I can tell you this is the kind of win that brings a team together, that the coach would go for it for 2 and say, screw tying it, we're going to go win this thing. And they do. It brings a locker room together. I don't know what it does to the Rams, but as far as the Seahawks go, especially this late in the season, Kev, to me, that makes them a legitimate Super Bowl favorite. Not a contender, a favorite after last night.
Insane when you look at that second 2-point conversion where it looked like they were stopped. And then after review, it was obviously a backward pass. Questionable whether it was picked up immediately or not, but hey, they called it. And what a finish to a game, I tell you. To have the cojones to make that call, because you miss that, you lose.
You lose, yeah, but he said, obviously he had confidence. They were 2 for 2 earlier. He trusts his players. That's why I say what this does for a locker room, you can't buy that. You can't buy that. And from the audience, Rob in Las Vegas writes in, he says, the wildest, most bizarre 2-point convert ever last night in the Seahawks game. Vancouver Eric says, Seahawks won despite the efforts of Sam Darnold. Brent in Saskatoon says, thank God it's Football Friday. Good day, Rod Squad from snowy Saskatoon. Jason and Red Deer says, what a finish. I think the Seahawks are for real this season. They are a legit contender. And Jeff the Stamps fan says, incredible game last night. You know, we used to call it the No Fun League for reasons that we all know why. It's not that this year, and that's not what I'm going to talk about here right now with you today, other than it's just been a great year of NFL football. The record number of games have come down to the last second. Well, the last minute for sure, most to the last second, like walk-off wins like last night, and the winner is the fans. Now, I'll get into this Puka Nacua stuff maybe later in hour 2. I don't want to drag this all down. I mean, he had to make an apology. He was ripping the refs on Twitter after the game. Kev, here's the one thing. Now that I don't really care who wins most nights, okay? As a guy that called games, thousands of games, we used to get so worked up about the refs and getting screwed on calls. You know what I realized, and I kind of knew at the time? Nobody really cares. You just sound like you're whining, And that's how I feel about Puka Nacua or anybody that's bitching about officiating. Nobody cares, bro. You lost. And I think you agree with me on that.
Yes. Wally Bono says it the best, and I've brought it up on your show many times. If you put yourself in a position to let a referee's call determine the game, that's on you, not the ref.
Well, and that's what happened to the Rams last night. It spoiled a career night for him, 225 yards for the Rams. I don't know what losing like that does other than maybe fuel for the fire, which reminds me, that's the poll question. We'll do that, and then we'll break and come back and continue with more because I do have some CFL notes I want to get into with you. But who will rep the NFC in the Super Bowl? Will it be the Seahawks? It's brought to you by EMJ Marketing, of course. Seahawks, Rams, Eagles, or other. I got a lot of things I want to get to today, and a lot of them have to do with the National Football League. But today, Scruffy will be mad because that's his team, the Seahawks. He'll be mad and say that I'm jinxing him. But I don't know, man. To me, it's the Seahawks that'll be in the Super Bowl. Said no one ever until lately, like outside that area code. Who would you say it'll be?
The football gods had the Seahawks number last night. Like, everything went the Seahawks' way when they needed it to. I mean, how often do you see punt returns for a touchdown in the NFL? A punt return for a touchdown in the NFL? Not very often. It happened.
Not that often. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to agree with you. I mean, as you know, I'm not a big NFL fan. My team in the NFL, of course, is the Seahawks growing up in Vancouver. They're just down the road. So I'd love to see it. I would jump on the bandwagon again. Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. I need a team.
Yeah, well, hey, it's all good, man. If you want to jump on the bandwagon, we do it here all the time. You don't need to be welded to a team, that's for sure. But I will say this. I didn't care for those Seahawks unis last night at all. Like, I turned it on. I'm like, who's playing again? Like, it looked like the Jets. But I also get that teams on Thursday night want to have they want to sell the jersey. But the Rams walked in there with their traditional blue and yellow uniforms with the horns. It's like, we're not screwing around on a Thursday night with our unis. We're going with tradition. And I loved that. But it was Seattle that walked out as the winners and smiling. Okay, when we come back, we'll dabble a little in the NHL, but I know this. Kev just mentioned he's from Vancouver. We won't talk a lot about the Canucks because I know all of our BC listeners are tired of hearing about the Canucks and probably don't even want to talk about them. But we have those CFL notes, a little college football, some NBA. Yeah, well, the Canucks are playing tonight. I might bring Kev in on my picks. But we are just getting rolling. It's the warm-up on a Football Friday. We're live across Canada and 32 U.S. states on the Game Plus television network. Jim Barker coming up in hour 2, by the way. We're also on YouTube, podcast, and 1700 WQVZ radio. We'll be right back.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. Time don't matter to me. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Football Friday brought to you in part by Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn, Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Your place to watch ball for all. College football playoff kicking off this weekend. Tonight, as a matter of fact, Alabama at Oklahoma, NFL Week 16. Don't forget there are a couple of Saturday games, y'all. And by the way, from the crowd, Stacy writes in from Access World Headquarters and says, I like those Seahawks unis, especially the helmets. Well, I didn't, but I'm not a Seahawks fan, so I'll shut up now. How did you feel about the Seahawks unis, Kev?
When I saw them, I thought the exact same thing as you did. I'm like, oof, those are ugly. I thought their lime green neon things were the ugliest uniform. Those ones just win.
Bro, you and I finally agree on something. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Wow,
we don't normally. Yeah, we're so close friends. It's wild. And by the way, before I get on with the rest of the topics here in the quick six, I will say this. For the NFL fans, and for that matter, CFL fans if you want, because it's Football Friday, what does your team need to do? And I'll tell you why I say that. Because the Dolphins are out. The Vegas Raiders are obviously out. My Cowboys are going to be out. So while all the other playoff teams are getting hyped, like your Seahawks, you just said, they're Super Bowl favorites. In other markets, people, their team's done. So last night I was out for supper with a bunch of guys. I don't know if I told you that. And I was sitting beside a guy. He's got 11 Dolphins season tickets. 11 in the lower bowl. Yeah. There's a story behind. I just met him. Like I'd been around him before, but it was the first time I've ever actually sat beside the guy. So we got talking, and he doesn't think Tua Tagovailoa should be traded, cut, whatever, the quarterback here. And he didn't think Mike McDaniel, the head coach, should be fired. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But you got 11 season tickets, so you have some cred. This is my question to you. You've been a season ticket holder for many teams. Do you get more cred if you're a season ticket holder? Should you be listened to a little more if you're a season ticket holder?
Maybe you're putting out the money, whether you're like your friend who has 11 or like myself who had just 2. You're putting out the money, so maybe that's who the teams should be listening to, not Joe Quarterback sitting on his couch watching on TSN. Maybe listen to the guys that are spending the money. Maybe a lot of teams should do that, and we might be better off.
I think you have a little more cred than the guy that's not paying for tickets. But who's kidding who? You can't decide who's going to be the quarterback. You can't. I know you want to, but you can't. Then we would have bigger problems. Anyways, I do want to throw in a hockey note here. Point 2, Rasmus Andersson assisted on 3 goals for the Flames in a 4-2 victory over the Seattle Kraken last night. Connor McDavid scored on a shorty, set up Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on a power play, and the Oilers beat the Bruins 3-1 last night. Zachary Bolduc scored twice, and Lane Hunstead produced 3 assists as Montreal romped over Chicago 4-1. Linus Ullmark's 24-save outing gave him his first shutty of the season in a 4-0 victory over Pittsburgh, and Logan Thompson earned his second shutty, I just love saying it, of the season. Jacob Chychrun scored twice for the Caps in a 4-0 win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. All I see is squalor out of Canada unless you are in Ottawa or Montreal. Everybody's pissed off, especially Vancouver, huh?
I tell you, we talked this morning. I was gone for 8 days, and my phone exploded when I came back to civilization with the Hughes trade, obviously. And I still haven't wrapped my head around it. I'm still kind of in shock. We just traded away the best defense in the league, the best defenseman in the league, probably, I would say, the top 5, maybe top 6 player in the league. We got a good return for him. I think we got a great return for him. But the toxicity in the Vancouver Canucks organization has caused this, and nobody's talking about it. Very few people are talking about it. Everybody's blaming everybody else, but where it deserves to be put. And that's right at the ownership's vote. It's just, yeah. I get angry. You can see my face is going red. Jake and I talked about this on our podcast on Wednesday. I wish I wasn't a passionate fan. I wish I was more like you, where I could just watch the game and enjoy the game. I don't have that switch.
Takes some practice.
Don't have the switch.
Takes a lot of practice, my friend. It really does,
60
but
years,
it's worthwhile.
I still don't.
So when that's as much Vancouver Canucks as we're going to talk today. Again, we have a lot of BC viewers, and they're depressed over the Canucks, and I totally get it. But Kevin, the medium, is from the Hughes Sports Podcast, where they do focus on Vancouver sports. So you certainly would enjoy that if you're a fan of the Canucks and the Lions. From the audience, boom, boom. What should your teams do? Jason in Red Deer says, talk of Tua to the Raiders. I say, hell no. Raiders need to stop picking up everyone's throwaways. I will go far deeper into this in hour 2 when we go to the Nevada audience. We'll talk about what the Raiders should do and what the Dolphins should do. And my Cowboys. I mean, look, we just fired the coach last year, okay? They don't see it, Kev. They don't see it. They don't see it. They're brainwashed in Texas. Like, you fired Mike McCarthy, you brought in Brian Schottenheimer, and you're still going to miss the playoffs. We all know what needs to happen, and yet it won't happen. So therefore, you detach and you don't let the actions of your team affect your mood. Stacy from Access World Headquarters writes in, and he's a Tampa Bay fan. He says, my Bucks offense needs to get back on track as we can't trust the D. They give up too many big plays. Yeah, and you could still win the division. I'll remind you that. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I have 4 Stampeders season tickets. If they listened to me, they would be far worse off. LOL. Finally, some truth. Are you into the eggnog, Jeff? A little early? Some truth out of Jeff, the Stamps fan here today. Kev, I actually did dig up some CFL news, and it's not small. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, that's my Bob Irving imitation. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers re-signed 2 big parts of their team Thursday, signing Canadian receiver Nick Dembski to a 2-year deal and veteran American defensive back Dietrich Nichols to a 1-year extension. Dembski had his 3rd straight campaign hitting the 1,000-yard mark. I love that guy, by the way. He's all that. The Winnipeg native was named to the West Division All-Star team for a 5th straight year. So I'll put this to you. I feel like it was when you were getting lost in the jungle being ravaged by snakes and mosquitoes that the Moose was on here last week. I think it was the Moose. And I said, is the Bombers window closed? And he didn't think that it was. And I don't think that it is. But you're the one that labeled them the Smurf Mafia. You don't really seem to like the Blue Bombers much. So do you think their window's closed? They finished 4th this year. They finished 4th.
They was it a glitch? I guess this next season will tell us. They're getting long at the tooth. I thought they might try to get a little bit younger this year, but they're re-signing all their vets, which I guess is a good thing. Keep the band together, give it one more shot. How many times have we seen the Rolling Stones go out for their final tour? That's what the Winnipeg is, the Rolling Stones of the CFL. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if they bring in some youth now, and kind of, I don't want to use the word rebuild when we're talking CFL because you really can't. But they need to bring in some youth to kind of transition that team. Is the window closed? I don't know. I'm going to say no with a question mark.
The window would be closed. This is what I said to Moose if Mike O'Shea had fled to go to Toronto. But the fact that they backed the Brinks truck up and said, fill it out, the check, Mike O'Shea, whatever you want to stay, tells me that Winnipeg is going to be part of the conversation, which you need to milk every last bit out of these guys that you can, whether it's Nick Dembski or even Zach Collaros, Willie Jefferson. Like, listen, the core is still there, but it is a fast drop-off. Trust me, we saw it in Sask with 2014 to 2015. We finished 3-15. Everybody got fired. Like, I mean, that will happen. It happens everywhere.
Well,
you know,
all you got to do is look over my left shoulder and talk about milking at somebody for everything they had. 25 years that man played in the CFL. So, yeah, I mean, you do have to, because he's ready to play. Collaros isn't retiring. Collaros isn't going anywhere. So you let him go, and then what? Does he burn you? Yeah.
Who knows? So by the way, I love these Football Fridays just like everybody else does, because it's December, and certainly in Canada, nobody else is talking football at this time. And they are not, unless it's one of the other networks picking up American programming. Anyways, regarding Tua, I don't know what the hell's going to happen with him. I don't. But Rob in Las Vegas says, heck no for Tua to the Raiders. Draft Mendoza. I need to stop, and I'll get more with the viewers later on once Kev adjourns. But you mentioned about a rebuild. Here's the thing that I actually like about the one-year deals in the CFL. Like, there's a lot of things with the CFL that we've mentioned that I don't like, but I don't hate the one-year deals. Do you know why? You can rebuild real fast, and also you need to treat your players well. Like Jason and Red Deer has pointed out that the Stampeders are bringing back Dedrick Mills. You'd better create a good culture and a good environment and have good facilities and have a place that players want to be, or else they're going to be gone. That was not always the case. I like that.
Are you listening, Canucks? And that's what it goes to. You've got to treat people properly in any organization. It doesn't matter if you're in sports or you're in business, you're a bank. If you don't treat your employees well, you're going to have open positions in your headquarters. And it runs to the field as well. So, yeah, you're totally right. That one-year contract, it makes it for, hey, you're not going to treat me well? Grass is definitely greener on the other side.
Right. And yet the flip of that is Dedrick Mills staying and Nick Dembski staying. And I mean, now it's not really news anymore that so-and-so has re-signed with a team. It's big news if somebody leaves.
Yes.
Because, teams are doing whatever they can to keep guys. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in and says, that's a great saying of Wally Buono's about roughing in the CFL. I agree 100%. He says, the Rough Riders proved over the years that you can't listen to the fans. I'm just glad that we hired a full-time CEO in Jim Hobson, and it's still that way. No, that's the point, but it's a fun discussion because, again, I thought I was sitting around a table in a sports bar with 7 Joe six-packs, which in a way I was, but this guy, he was making a lot of sense. And then once I found out he had 11 season tickets, I was like, oh, wait. You have a little more cred than a lot of these other schlubs here right now. Because I can't even imagine. I didn't even have the cojones to ask him how much they were. Because, dude, NFL tickets are outrageous. And to be honest, he said that they're going from 11, what do you say, down to 8 because they want to buy some Panthers season tickets. I mean, it's just so bloody expensive. But I'll say it. I'm surprised more viewers haven't jumped on this because I'm a season ticket holder. My God, I heard it for decades in Saskatchewan. I've been a season ticket holder since 1968, and God damn it. So what that entitles you to is the same seat every game. That's it.
Yeah. Nothing more.
Right. Sorry to say. 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Are you looking to trade up? Western Dodge makes it easy with top dollar trade-ins and unbeatable deals. I will get into with Kev. Have you seen the interview between Luke Wilson and the commissioner? That stirred up a lot of people this week.
Yeah, I did.
You sound so forlorn when you say that. Why do you say it like that?
I really liked Luke when he first came onto the scene. I'm getting tired of this guy. He's been here for a cup of coffee, and if you don't agree with him, he will destroy you. He or try to destroy you and call you on all kinds of dumb names like a numpty. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
The best thing about sports is Rod and I he's one of my best friends in the world. We hardly agree on anything. We're allowed to disagree with you, Luke.
Makes it fun.
Well, he's not the expert in the CFL. He's been here for a cup of coffee. Get over it, buddy.
I got so many people asking me what I think of the interview, and I'm like, I don't think about the interview. I watched it. They bought him.
Thank you.
That's what I think. Okay? That's my thoughts on. I guess we closed that. We'll have to come up with something else when we come back. We do have a lot of other topics to get to. We'll be right back. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge. We'll return in a moment here on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, podcast, and 1700 WQVZ.
Are you ready? January 8th to 11th, it all goes down in Moose Jaw at the Yara Center. The Battle on the Prairies. NCAA rules. 25 elite teams. Alberta, Boston, Texas, Mexico, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. All under one roof. Come watch live. Tickets available right at the door. Pay-per-view will be available at ikslive.ca.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Okay, we do the junior hockey report every day for the Mad Greek Eatery. Brady Martin and Gavin McKenna have already found chemistry for Canada's World Junior team. Martin scored twice as Canada defeated Sweden 2-1 in pre-tournament play for the World Junior Hockey Championship. McKenna, a projected top pick in next summer's draft, provided 2 assists, and Cutter George made 19 saves for Canada. Experience authentic Greek flavors right in Moose Jaw at the Mad Greek Eatery, open until 11 p.m. nightly. Order online, pick up, or dine in. Check out their menu at themadgreekeatery.com. An NBA note, point 4 of the Quick Six Show topics. Brandon Ingram scored 29 points. Scotty Barnes added 24. And the Toronto Raptors beat the slumping Milwaukee Bucks 111-105 last night. Just throwing that in there. Yeah, and I was asking the viewers, what does your team need to do? If you're not in the running, whether it be college football playoff, NFL, home stretch here in playoffs, and you're out of it, what does your team need to do? Rob in Vegas writes that he says, I'm okay if the Bombers re-sign selective veterans like Nick Dembski. Many of the team's older players need to be replaced. Wayne, by the way, Rob in Vegas is a Bomber fan. He's originally from Winnipeg. Wayne in Winnipeg says, word on the street is that the Bombers are going to hire Tommy Condell as offensive coordinator. Wow. O'Shea and Walters are going down the loser road again. Bomber fans get screwed again. Oh, come on. Let's turn that frown upside down. What about your BC Lions, Kev? They didn't win the Grey Cup, so clearly they could use some spiffing up.
I don't think they need a whole lot of spiffing, to be honest. If they could re-sign the majority of the team, which like the core, which sounds like most of the core is going to return, I think they got a great chance. I heard a cool rumor, though, about the BC Lions.
Okay.
You heard about the Vancouver Whitecaps will be moving over to Hastings Park and building a brand new arena. There's rumors that Mr. Doman is having chats over there, which would be
sharing a stadium.
Yeah, which would be very, very interesting. What happens to BC Place at that point?
Right where you grew up?
That is like blocks away from where I grew up. My family actually goes back lots of history with Hastings Park when it first started horse racing, when we first immigrated here many, many moons ago.
That is a very, very, very special part of the world. As you know, that's basically in the backyard of Pacific Coliseum, right? Grouse Mountain is up. You got a beautiful view. Why is my heart fluttering? Well, I hope that they do it. Wally said, Wally and I, it's hilarious. We used to hate each other. Now, well, I love him. I don't know if he loves me. I think he at least likes me. But he used to say they needed a stadium out of downtown. You're obviously in agreement with that?
Yeah, I mean, BC Place served its purpose, I'll say. But Hastings Park area, what a place that would be. Like you say, you get the shots of Grouse Mountain. You can even get the golden years in the background. Whew, that would be special. They would be.
Can I be grumpy old taxpayer for a second?
Oh no!
We just paid $500 million to upgrade BC Place, and you're going to move out of it. Who the hell's who's going to play there? What are you going to do? You can't move out of BC Place.
Well, maybe they should renegotiate their lease then. The Whitecaps, BC Lions, don't make any money off the concessions at BC Place. It's not a team-friendly environment, I'll say. So Amar Doman isn't a dumb businessman. If he has the opportunity and he can partner and he's got the money to do it with a brand new stadium where he gets a little bit of that money, he's going to jump on that. Come on, $10 bills.
Well, this will be fun to watch. I mean, I don't really care because I don't live there, but I just find it fascinating when owners and municipal leaders fight. What are you going to pay for it yourself? to build the new stadium? Is that okay? Whatever. That's enough about that. I saw snippets of this. I didn't realize that the Lions were potentially in on it. I find it fascinating. By the way, do season ticket holders have more cred than the average fan? Bill writes in from Brantford, Ontario, the home of Wayne Gretzky. And Bill says on the Western Dodge text line, I had Maple Leaf season tickets back in the 70s. All it did was guaranteed me a seat for the games. Harold Ballard wasn't about to listen to my ideas. Signed Bill from Brantford. So I'm throwing that out, what do you call it, rhetorically. Just that I was sitting with a guy last night with 11 season tickets for the Dolphins. And I'm like, bro, you're invested. I'm not saying Stephen Ross, the owner, should bring him in and say, what do you think we should do with the head coach? But it's just interesting here because Mike McDaniel, they've made the playoffs once in his time, I believe. Tua is 0-6 in games below freezing. There's been a lot of mistakes made here, yet the Dolphins fans are starting to turn. They want to see these guys. They like those guys. Like, you like your guys. You know what I mean? They don't want to see them fired. But they haven't won in a long time. Go ahead.
The decisions made in that game in the fourth quarter. I've been watching football. I don't care if it's CFL, NFL, college, amateur. The decisions made in that fourth quarter by the coach was mind-boggling. Like, the time clock was just, what are you doing? It was baffling to me. It was like, are you trying to lose this game? Are you intentionally tossing this game out the window?
Which game were you talking about there?
That was last Sunday. Yeah, because we had just got home. So it would have been Sunday that just passed. Where
the
it was
Dolphins
fourth
game?
Quarter. Huh?
The Dolphins game or which game?
The Dolphins game. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think they are trying to lose. We just went down that road here with Brian Flores, the last head coach. There was a league investigation that they were trying to tank games. Of course, they're trying to tank games. They're just trying to do it so you don't notice it. I can't. Oh, yeah. So they're starting a rookie quarterback here, Quinn Ewers, and out at Texas. I mean, I've been following his career for a long time because I'm a Longhorns fan. Not a diehard per se, but yeah, that's funny that you would say that. Since I have you here and it's fun to do NHL picks, let's do this. Okay, Kev?
Yeah.
Even though it is a football Friday, we got not a lot of time left in the segment. Carolina at Florida tonight. Who do you have to win?
Florida.
Me too. Vancouver at the Islanders. Who do you have to win?
Who does Vancouver go 3-0? Yeah, let's continue with my kids because they're not smart enough to lose.
Irrational fan Kevin taking his Canucks. New Jersey Devils at the Utah Mammoth. Who do you like?
The Mammoth. Just because I like the name.
Okay, I'm taking the Devils. Winnipeg. Resist the devil and he will flee. True story. Winnipeg at what? Life tips on the RP.
Sometimes you catch me off guard.
Sometimes I catch everybody off guard. That's why I have a show. Winnipeg at Carolina tonight. Not Carolina. Colorado tonight, sorry.
Let's go Winnipeg.
I will too because of our vast Winnipeg viewership. And the Dallas Stars at the Anaheim Ducks tonight. Whew. Two of the top teams in the National Hockey League.
I like the Ducks in that one.
Okay. I will take the Stars just for fun. It's a little thing that we call sport betting, everybody. We make the picks, but we don't put money on it. It's fun to play, and you don't lose your house. Okay, Kev, what's up for the weekend?
Not a whole lot. We're doing some Christmas dinners with family or Christmas get-togethers with family, then heading back down to Maple Creek, Saskatchewan, and doing more get-togethers with family, and then off to my daughter's for Christmas Day, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh, good for you. That sounds very exciting. Well, promise to keep in touch, would you? And I'm glad you made it home safe and sound. From where were you? Dominican Republic?
Dominican Republic, just outside of Samana.
Where they don't have Wi-Fi.
Well, they do in that area, but once you go 20 minutes into the jungle, no.
Kev calls this a holiday. I call it a prison sentence. and as did he by the time he got home. All right, Kev. Thank you so much. Shout out for Hughes Sports Podcast. Tell our viewers, please, where they can catch you.
Yeah, you can catch us at HSP all over social media, Hughes Sports Podcast. Our schedule is kind of wonky the next few weeks, just because we go live Wednesdays, and of course that's right at Christmas time here. So, but catch us on all over social media. Everybody, have yourself a very, very Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Kevin. Great job. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Travel safe.
We'll be in touch, my friend.
All right, Kevin the Medium from the Hughes Sports Podcast. I'll be coming right back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way. A lot of interesting things in the goodie bag. We'll be right back here on the Game Plus Television Network.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, everybody. Hey, have you signed up yet for the Rod Squad newsletter? It drops every Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon-ish, definitely on Sunday. It's free, and you can sign up at rodpedersen.com. Award-winning column presented by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Visit sudsregina.com. They watch us every single day in the lobby there. Hi, Kirby. Hi, Natalie, and your growing brood. To be honest, Kirby texted me the other day. He was quite excited that Sarah Palin had been on this program on Tuesday. He's like, wow, not only did you get Sarah Palin on the show, but she said she's a big fan of the show. What can I say? God is good. And by the way, before I delve into the sports update here, I don't know how this theme came up, but it did. What does your team need to do? It's a Football Friday, so we're talking about your football team. So whether it be, I'm laughing because I'm thinking college just flashed in my mind because there's a lot of teams whose college season is over. And immediately there, it's spend more money, rally more boosters and sponsors for NIL money. It's very easy for college football, buy players. It's not that easy in other leagues, i.e., the conversation last night with my guys here in South Florida about what the Dolphins should do. That's what they're all talking about here. This is the sucky time of year because I was looking at the standings in the NFL, and there's an E beside a lot of teams' names. Giants, Jets, Falcons, now Dolphins, soon to be Cowboy, E. There's still 3 weeks to go in the regular season, including this weekend. But if your team's not in contention, you've checked out and you're thinking about next year. And then if for the CFL, let's be honest, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, my team, the Grey Cup champions, they don't got to do nothing. They're the Grey Cup champs. I was just with their offensive coordinator 2 weeks ago at a speaking engagement, and not that he said they don't need to do anything, but he said all their long list of free agents, all those players deserve to come back if they can make it work financially. They just want a championship. They just want a ship, as they used to say. They still say that? I'm not cool anymore. It was my birthday this week, and I forgot how old I was. I'm told that's common. Like, frankly, I look at these last two presidents, Trump and Biden, I'm like, they're in their 70s. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm 53, and I can't remember where I put my keys. I'll get to the rest of this in a second. Here's your sports update. 2 Canadian NHL teams are in action tonight, and they're both on the road. The Vancouver Canucks take on the Islanders, as we just mentioned, and the Winnipeg Jets will meet the Colorado Avalanche. One game on top in the Professional Women's Hockey League. Minnesota is home to Boston. Their preliminary round wraps up today at the Hearing Life Canadian Open in Saskatoon. Defending men's champion Bruce Mowat has already qualified for the weekend playoffs at the Grand Slam of Curling event. Defending women's champ Rachel Homan also has a playoff ticket after winning her first 3 games. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder are in Minnesota tonight in one of 5 NBA games. I'll tell you why I'm chuckling. On the schedule, the first place Thunder have lost just 2 games this season. The Raptors have the night off. They beat the Bucks last night. Are you looking for the hottest fan gear? Trust me, Ultimate Fan Zone has it. Swing by UFZ or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca where real fans get their gear. I already kind of forgot while I was chuckling. Oh, yeah, this is what it is. I got a lot of notes here for when I sit here alone. In case you people let me down with your comments and you don't write in. I need comments for the rest of the way here. We've got a lot of time left in this hour, 12 minutes left in this hour. If you're watching on streaming on YouTube, you can write in the chat or you can text me at 902-518-3033. Bob in Medicine Hat, where are you at today? And with regards to this new stadium in Vancouver, if it happens, Sean writes in from Vancouver. He's watching on Game Plus TV, and he says, could UBC expand their stadium for both the Lions and T-Birds? You Vancouver people would know better than me. I guess I could have asked Kevin that, but my guess is these owners, well, I goof on them a lot. Not Amar Doman, because I love him. I goof on a lot of the other owners. They got a lot of money. They ain't stupid. So they would have looked around all the areas and realized that whatever, what Kevin call it, Hastings Park. I know the area. I just didn't know the name of it. Would be the perfect place for a stadium. I'm assuming that's where Empire Field was back in the day, right beside Pacific Coliseum. That's where they want to do it. We'll see if they do it. And I guess that's one of the many reasons why I really love having Kev on the show is we get that Vancouver flair because we have a lot of viewers out there. And so what's popped up on my radar this week, because everybody thinks that I live in South Florida for 9 months, so I don't pay attention to Canadian sports. Wrong. I'm still following what everybody's doing and what everybody's saying, almost to a fault. And I saw Bob Marjanovic, the Moj, the voice of the BC Lions, who was just on here a couple of weeks ago, put a self-video on Twitter, walking through the forest, a very Vancouver thing to do, talking about the media in Vancouver being blamed for being toxic. And here's the thing, with regards to covering the Vancouver Canucks, and I was talking to Kev this morning, I'm like, what do you mean? What are they talking about? And Kevin goes, well, some fans think that the media is too hard on the Canucks, and that's the reason why they suck so much. I'm like, does anybody actually believe that? Because it's not true. And in any market, whether it's Vancouver or anywhere else. And the thing is, back to being old and having a little bit of experience and been around the block a few times, I can, with one sentence, mic drop conversations like this. And I've done it with teams because, well, this was this was before we won with Saskatchewan. But we had coaches, and with the hockey teams too, that would call me in for my coverage. Back in when you could be critical back in the day. You can't anymore. I understand that. As the voice of the team. Back then you could be, now you can't. Nobody's allowed to be critical of the team, whether you're the voice of the team or not. But anyways, they would call me in, give me hell for something I'd said. And like, do you think that I'm the reason you lost last night or that you missed the playoffs? Well, it didn't help. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. When you guys win, did I have anything to do with it? No. Then why do you think I had anything to do with you losing? It's the same thing. They had nothing to say to that. I'm a very difficult guy to argue with when I really want to dig my heels in. And that would be an example of that. So if pigs fly and hell freezes over and the Vancouver Canucks win the Stanley Cup, are they going to bring in the media and give them Stanley Cup rings? Give them a lap around the ice with the... No. So don't blame them when you're losing. What the hell's wrong with you? Anyways. Tony from Cochrane writes in, thank you, Tony, regarding to the Blue Bombers keeping the band together. He says that the Blue Bombers are like the Rolling Stones. Tony says, I'm guessing Kevin went to the same Rolling Stones farewell tour concert I did in 1981 at the Kingdome in Seattle. By the way, they were saying last night's Thursday Nighter was the best game ever played in the new place, Lumen Field. I'm trying to remember it used to be CenturyLink Field. Was it something before that? They got to stop changing the names like this. Brent writes in, he says, great finish to an exciting game. Seahawks played good. Matt Stafford looked good until he got hit a couple of times. I hear Wayne, not in BC, Wayne in Winnipeg writes in, he says, Seahawks fans in Lumen Field have not had an electrifying game like that since the Legion of Boom. It's been a long time since they've had a game that exciting. I think even before Legion of Boom times in Seattle. 902-518-3033 is the text line. By the way, are you enjoying bowl season? I know some people that aren't fans of Kennesaw State. It is a wonderful time of year. There's a triple header on in college football right now. The Myrtle Beach Bowl was over at the coin flip. Last I looked, Kennesaw State, which it's unfortunate because their general manager is from Regina, Mike Kershaw. His dad's Phil Kershaw, former chairman of the CFL Board of Governors, president of the Rough Riders, both Ottawa and Sask. They are getting motorboated 34-0 at halftime by Western Michigan. Carlos, thank you, Carlos in Indianapolis, pointing out, he says, the bowl playoffs begin tonight. Yes, the college football playoff begins tonight, which I was saving for hour 2, Carlos. So you're so in luck. It's coming up after the break when we go to air across Nevada. So the Myrtle Beach Bowl is being played right now. It's basically over. They can hand out the trophy at halftime. 34-0 Western Michigan leads Kennesaw State. Gasparilla Bowl follows that. Memphis versus NC State. And then tonight, Oklahoma, home to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Where are the Tide fans at? Roll Tide. Sooners favored at home by, I didn't write it down, but I think it's 1.5. I guess because this college football playoff is so new in terms of the format, this is the second year of the 12 teams. I'm kind of wondering if it's like the World Juniors, because for those of you that celebrate the quarterfinal day, the 4 games that run back to back to back, there's always one upset in the 4 games. There's always one upset on wildcard weekend, the first weekend of the NFL playoffs. Is there going to be an upset this weekend in round 1 of the college football playoffs? I kind of think that there will be. And I think it'll be tonight. But we'll talk about that more next hour. Jim Barker will be with us. And Joe 747 Gunnis will be with us as we play Deal or No Deal for the National Football League. Week 16 for Cool Bet and Pump Jack. So we're just getting rolling, everybody. We really are on this Football Friday. So get comfortable. Top up your coffee. And we'll be right back. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge. We'll be back here on Game Plus Television after this timeout. YouTube Live, podcast, and 1700 WQVZ.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Happy holidays. It's a Football Friday, everybody. Rocking and rolling into hour 2. You are enjoying the RP show on a variety of platforms. It's hour 2 on Game Plus TV across Canada and 32 U.S. states. It's hour 1 on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network in Nevada. Of course, YouTube, podcast, and WQVZ radio. As I say, it's a little thing we call Football Friday. Hi. Hope you're ready to roll into the weekend. Jim Barker coming up in the next segment, talking football. And Joe, 747, Gunnis going to join us to talk about Week 16 in the NFL with our Deal or No Deal. Who needs Howie Mandel? We play Deal or No Deal with Gunny Highway. Let's get rolling. We got a lot of things to get to and not a lot of time here. Quick 6 show topics. The big story, Week 16 in the NFL kicked off last night with the game of the year, maybe the best game ever at Lumen Field in Seattle. Sam Darnold connected with Jackson Smith and Jigma for a touchdown in overtime, and then converted the winning 2-point convert, and the Seattle Seahawks erased a 16-point fourth-quarter deficit, came back to stun the LA Rams 38-37 on Thursday Night Football. Seahawks went 3 for 3 on 2-point converts in the game. Now, that has them soaring to the top of the NFC West. And to be honest, Kate Scott calling the game. This morning I was out for the run and listening to the highlights of the game. They played it on NBC Sports Radio. Miss Scott's call of the game was elite. And she's like, and the Seahawks have soared to the top of the NFC West. I'm like, oh, damn, that's good. I don't care. Male, female, what have you. In between, good is good. That was a hell of a broadcast call last night on the Westwood One Radio Network. But more than that, it was a great night for football and a great night for comebacks, obviously. The Seahawks have never, in their time, did you see the stat? They were like 170, roughly, when trailing by 16 points or more in the fourth quarter to come back and win. And that was the first. So I'm interested to talk to Jim Barker about all of these things. And you too, the viewers. That is the kind of game that brings a locker room together for a million reasons. That they came back and won, that the coach went for it for 2 instead of 1 to tie the game and, finish in a tie or take their chances. No, we're going to win. It reminds me of, and we've told this story many, many times, when we won a championship in 2007 with the Riders. We had, I don't know what it was, like 6 comeback victories in the second half of the season alone. And to me, that made the Seattle Seahawks an automatic, not only Super Bowl contender, I think they're the favorite. And that is our poll question today on the RP show for EMJ Marketing. Transform your audience with powerful presentations from EMJ Marketing's elite speakers. Check out their website for more information, emjmarketing.com. Who will rep the NFC in the Super Bowl? And I may not have the top 3 here. If you don't agree, please let me know. But Seattle's leading the poll, the Seahawks, with 39% of the vote. Maybe some of that is people are prisoners of the moment. The Seahawks, to use a hockey term, are a wagon. Sam Darnold, first year there. Cooper Kupp as well. And Mike McDonald has got to be in the Coach of the Year conversation, which as of a month ago, they were doing great things, but nobody was paying attention. Now they are. That's what a national TV audience will do for you. The LA Rams, by the way, close, 35%, hot on the heels of the Seahawks in the standings, hot on the heels of the Seahawks in the poll. It's 39% Seattle, 35% Rams, 13% Philadelphia, and 13% say other. Yes, I understand that my Cowboys are an NFC team and still mathematically alive. So what? I could mathematically go down into the Chippendales Club and dance tonight. That could happen. It's not going to, that I'm going to jump up on stage in a G-string. That's not going to happen. The Cowboys are not going to make the playoffs, let alone go to the Super Bowl, which reminds me, last night I was out with a bunch of guys. I was telling this story last hour. Oh, by the way, Carlos is watching in Indianapolis. He writes and he says, I'm giving it to a dark horse like the Bears. If they get to the big one, it'll certainly do things for their stadium situation. Oh, news has come down today that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be getting a new stadium. And I've never been to Arrowhead. I've had many invitations, just not that interested in going to Kansas City. But new stadiums seem to be the thing. I'm all for progress. How about your Colts, Carlos? I know that's AFC, but Kirk writes in from Toronto, and he says, hey, Rod, what a terrific game last night. Too bad those ugly Seattle third jerseys couldn't match a wild and entertaining game. I didn't like the jerseys either, Kirk. I'm with you, but they're also not our team, so let's let them celebrate them and sell a lot of jerseys. I'm not buying one. Clearly, you're not either, but Jeff writes in and says, hey, Rod, I love the Finns swag. Well, thanks for getting me to that. I've got stuff from just about every team for a variety of reasons that I'll explain another day, not today, but why I have so many teams. But last night I was out with a bunch of guys, meeting of one of the clubs that I belong to here, and I'm sitting beside a guy, and I had been around him before, but I'd never spent time with him like yesterday. Dave is his name. And he's going on about how the Dolphins should bring back Tua and how the Dolphins should bring back Mike McDaniel all next year. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Not really listening. And my friend Derek on the other side of me, who I'm very close with, and I know Derek, he's a big Falcons fan. He's from Atlanta. He's like, oh, Dave's got 11 season tickets to the Dolphins. And I'm like, whoa. Okay, well, tell me more. Why do you think these guys should come back? And that was a bit of a theme through hour one, and I kind of know what Jim Barker's answer will be to this, but I'll put it to him anyways when he joins us next. Should season ticket holders get more cred? Not with the team, they don't. But he's got 11 season tickets. Tens of thousands, if not six figures, this guy has spent on Dolphin season tickets every year. We got to at least listen to the guy. This is not the town hall where you bring all the season ticket holders in and they tell you how to do your business. We can't have that. But I was literally like, you're not just Joe Sixpack scratching your nuts. Like, why do you? I give them more cred. I give season ticket holders more cred. That's all that I'm saying. Not a lot more, but more, because I don't know who said it. If somebody wants to look it up, they'll find it. Who was it that said, if you listen to the fans, you'll soon be sitting with them? Somebody said it, and it's a great line. But anyways, Dave's got 11 season tickets. Kirk writes in from Toronto. He says, hey, Rod, I wouldn't want to see you in a G-string. Don't worry. It's not going to happen. Just like the Cowboys aren't going to make the playoffs, which reminds me, that's the point. I was saying we got some traction moving on this in hour one, and then we moved on because the show goes so fast. What should your team do if they're not in it? Because it's very exciting for fans of the Rams and the Seahawks and the Eagles and the Bears and the Packers. They all got a chance. The Dolphins have been eliminated. The Cowboys will by the end of this weekend. The Raiders are long gone. What should your team do? And I know that's not your job, and there's a lot of Raiders fans that watch this show. They've been writing in. It's one thing to bitch and complain, but what would you do? You got two guys on the end of their career, Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. Are you running it back with them? Chip Kelly was already fired. They already fired one guy. And in Dallas, with my Cowboys, I'm not going to belabor you with that because you watch this show every day. You know how I feel. We all know what the problem is. And nobody in Dallas wants to admit it. But until Jerry steps aside and stops, and don't tell me he does not impact that locker room when he's trading Micah Parsons over a clash of personalities when it comes to a contract. Don't tell me that he doesn't have impact. Give me a break. Jerry's the problem. We all know it. They already fired a coach last year, Mike McCarthy. What's Schottenheimer done? Well, saw this coming. At least I did. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit them or shop online at westerndodge.ca. Oh, and then the other thing, I'll bring this up for the benefit of those that weren't watching in hour one. That's out in Vancouver, the media is being called toxic, and the reason the Vancouver Canucks suck and are last place in the NHL. I'm like, being called that by who? By the team? And Kevin, the medium, who was with us last hour, Canucks fan, goes, no, the fans are saying it's the media's fault. Sure, it's the media's fault the team's losing. When you start giving them credit when they win, then I'll buy the argument that it's the media's fault when they lose. Stop it. Give me a break. Moving on. Point two, there are two Canadian teams in action tonight in the National Hockey League. The Vancouver Canucks, the aforementioned Vancouver Canucks, take their 2-game winning streak to New York, facing the Islanders tonight. And later on, the Winnipeg Jets will have their hands full in trying to snap their 2-game losing skid when they visit the league best Colorado Avalanche. We already did our picks in that one. Our NFL picks for Week 16 are coming up later in Deal or No Deal. And that is brought to you by CoolBet.com and Pump Jacks, your home for NFL football. Don't forget, there's a Saturday doubleheader in the NFL. And then your regular spate of Sunday games. The Saturday games are Philly at Washington, followed by Green Bay at Chicago. That second one would be a doozy. Thursday night in the NHL, Rasmus Anderson assisted on 3 goals for the Calgary Flames in a 4-2 win over the visiting Seattle Kraken. A home game for Ebbs. Zachary Bolduc scored twice, and Lane Hudson produced 3 assists as the Montreal Canadiens defeated the Chicago Blackhawks 4-1. Linus Ullmark's 24-save outing gave him his first shutout of the season. Ottawa beat Pittsburgh 4-0, and Logan Thompson earned his second shutout of the year. Jacob Chikrin scored twice, and the Washington Capitals beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-0. There's your hockey update on this Friday. Moving on. I promised you, Carlos, in Indianapolis, that we would talk about the college football playoff kicking off this weekend. Kicking off tonight, Alabama at Oklahoma. My former team, the Crimson Tide. And when I say mine, I mean the team that I used to cheer for in college football. Since I moved here, the Miami Hurricanes, you can't escape it here. And they're playing tomorrow. But tonight, Alabama, the Tide, the only 3-loss team in the field, gets another chance to beat the Sooners, who were responsible for one of those 3 defeats last month in Tuscaloosa. I'll take Bama. I'll take Bama to win tonight. Who are your picks, everybody? This is new, right? The 12-team playoff. It's kind of exciting. We don't know yet if there's always a weekend, this opening weekend, if there's always an upset. It kind of, listen, junior hockey and college football, I've always said, are very similar. The players are the same age. It's the highest level before you get to pro. But I'll say it again, the players are basically the same age. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be very unpredictable things going on. That's one of the ways I've always related college football to junior hockey. Used to be neither one were being paid, but that's not the case anymore. But on quarterfinal day, usually quarterfinal Wednesday at the World Juniors, where there's 4 games all in a row, there's always one upset. Will we see that this weekend? And every moving forward opening weekend, round 1 of the college football playoff? That would be an upset if Alabama wins at Oklahoma tonight. Saturday, noon on ABC, the Miami Hurricanes and Texas A&M Aggies are both making their inaugural appearances in the college football playoff, despite both narrowly missing out on their own conference championship games. I have to take the Hurricanes. I have to. I'm going to a watch party tomorrow. We'll probably end up hosting it like the last one I went to. At least I was able to buy some Hurricanes gear. Just checking what they're saying here. Carlos writes in, he says, weird to think that the Cowboys have had only 2 GMs in franchise history. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Jared Jones must realize he is a negative influence on that team, but he doesn't care. He would rather be the center of attention than win. There are support groups for these types of things. 3:30 Eastern on TNT, number 11, Tulane at number 6, Ole Miss. The Green Wave got annihilated by the Rebels 45-10 when they met in week 4. Lane Kiffin was the coach then. Will the outcome be different this time around? In Ole Miss's first game without Lane on the sideline? I think so. I got Tulane, which incidentally, did I write the points? They're favored by 14.5. I'll take the Green Wave to win that game. Oh, God. Then you better bet Lane Kiffin's going to need a police escort into Oxford next year, which they get all the time anyways, but double security, I would think. And then 7:30 also on TNT Saturday night. Number 12, James Madison University at number 5, Oregon. Only undefeated Indiana has a longer active winning streak than the Dukes, who have won 11 straight to reach the college football playoff just 4 years into their FBS tenure. The Mighty Ducks, whose only loss came against those Hoosiers await in Eugene Saturday night, Eugene, Oregon. I'll take Oregon. So I got 2 road teams to win. Alabama, Miami. Oregon to win at home. 3 road teams, and Tulane as well. So it's a triple header on Saturday in college football. We talked about this last year when college football went up against the NFL, playing on Saturdays, and I think they played Sunday as well. They're not doing it again this year, so it tells me that the NFL is still king for weekend viewership on the tube. Oh, and by the way, NBA, Brandon Ingram scored 29 points. Scotty Barnes added 24, and the Toronto Raptors beat the slumping Milwaukee Bucks 111-105 on Thursday night. There are 5 games tonight, including Miami at Boston. By the way, does your message stand out at Outlaw Communications? We make sure it does. Tony Plater brings 35 years of communication and leadership expertise. Let him help you out. Outlaw Communications, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. We'll be back with Jim Barker right after this. You're watching Across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, and across Canada and 32 U.S. states on Game Plus TV, podcast, and 1700 WQVZ.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
The RP Show is brought to you in part by CoolBet. Claim your welcome bet bonus today up to $200, but only with the promo code RP200. You can claim it at coolbet.com. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Coach Barker checking in from Sin City, I believe. How does the day find you?
I'm actually in Toronto.
Oh.
I was in Las Vegas last weekend, and then I came back. There's a lot of work to do here, so we did our Christmas early. Holly obviously is working through Christmas anyway, and Kate, my older daughter, had a big play. So last weekend it closed. It was great. I got to see all that, and now here I am back in Toronto, plugging away.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that your travel all went safely and you had the family time and all the rest. Coach, I'm going to start with this, and then you can go wherever you want. But I just want to say college football playoff kicking off this weekend, 4 games. Do you see an upset in there or more than one?
Well, again, Texas A&M Miami, I think, is a difficult game. I don't even know who the favorites are, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not a gambler, and even though I had a place in Las Vegas, that wasn't my thing. But I'm not sure who's favored in the Alabama-Oklahoma game, which I think is really maybe the most intriguing. Okay, I like the underdog. I like Alabama. Going into Oklahoma, you say might be tough, but they went into Georgia and, I thought they played outstanding, maybe their best game there. It comes down to Ty Simpson, and Oklahoma's defense is great, but Oklahoma's offense has been, ever since Mateer came back from that thumb injury, he hasn't been the same. So I'm going to pick Alabama just because of big plays are going to win this game, and Ryan Williams has yet to play the way that Ryan Williams can, and I just believe that they're going to end up beating Oklahoma in Oklahoma. So that to me is the best game. Texas A&M and Miami is an interesting one. Who's favored in that? Would that be
home team? All the home teams.
Oh,
Texas
home
A&M.
So Texas A&M's favored. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's Texas A&M plays great defense. There's no question about it. Miami, they're just so up and down. I just have a feeling everybody's picking Miami in this game, and I just have a feeling that Texas A&M is going to play at a different level, and Miami's going to have trouble stopping their run. There's 2 great Canadian players on the Miami team, so that's an exciting game for those of us that are looking for Canadian players. Messidor, a defensive end who will probably be a top 3 round NFL guy, and then the center from Miami is a sophomore Canadian who will be in our draft in 2 years. So I enjoy watching Miami. I just think Texas A&M overall is a much better defensive team and will win that. I saw you pick Tulane over Ole Miss, as I know Rod Pedersen would, for all the wrong reasons, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
wait till
what
I'm
makes
right.
You. And you very well could be. You very well could be. I'm going to pick Ole Miss just because of I just think they have better players. They lost Kiffin, but those offensive coaches are coaching in this game, and the defense will be the same. I think they're a better team. I think it's tougher for those teams like Tulane that didn't have the preparation in terms of teams they played and beat for this kind of game. That's the same thing with James Madison. That game is. How is that team going to go in there and play with Oregon? Maybe they win, and it's like Jim Barker just doesn't know anything. So, that could happen. There's no doubt.
Well,
but
I psyched myself out. I psyched myself out on this. Yeah, those Rebels players are going to want to shove it where the sun don't shine on Lane Kiffin. It's not too late for me to change my pick. Oh, sorry. And by the way, Greg in Calgary writes, I'm just saying, great rallying cry for the Ole Miss players. Screw Lane Kiffin. We're going to go kick their ass. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Greg in Calgary writes, and he says, hey, Rod, I'll take Oklahoma, Miami, Ole Miss, and Oregon. So, yeah, they're into it, even in Canada. We were talking earlier about the Seahawks, the huge comeback victory last night for them.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Go ahead. Your thoughts on the Thursday nighter?
Well, every quarterback, high school quarterback coach, college quarterback coach, even youth quarterback coaches cringed when they watched Matt Stafford look that way and on the goal line throw it that way, and they're saying, "Oh no, my guy is going to try to do that." He's playing like Patrick Mahomes, and we talked about it on your show a couple weeks ago that he's an older version of Patrick Mahomes. It's like I've never seen him play the way he's playing. They lost that game, but I like the Ram team, boy. I like the way they're together. And I don't know if you watched Matthew Stafford after the game, but
no.
I just wanted to hear what he had to say. And his confidence, and, you know, he said, well, if they get another play off the helmet for 2 points and, you know, then we'll be worried. But we're not worried, about Seattle. Well, Seattle's a good football team. They've got a great defense. And Sam Darnold, that game will go miles getting ready for the playoffs. That game is huge for them. For them to win that game and for Sam to do it. Because if you remember last year in the playoffs against Minnesota, when he was playing for Minnesota, he wasn't very good. And they got beat badly. And I know that there's been a lot of talk about that. So that game should help him a lot. Seattle still plays Carolina, and then the last game of the season is Seattle and San Francisco that could decide who, where everybody's going to end up going. So the Ram team, you put Devontae Adams back on the field, they're not 3 of 6, kicking 3 field goals. They're not doing that down by the goal line. They were down there 6 times and only scored 3 times, and that's what Devontae Adams does. I think they lose a huge part of their offense when he's out, and they still had almost 600 yards of offense. I mean, that team is an unbelievable football team right now against a Seattle defense that is beating everybody. I think Seattle, Mike McDonald's done a great job there. I love the way they play the game. I love the Seattle crowd. Of all the crowds I like to watch, I like Seattle the best. I think it's a tough place to play. And what a great football game that was. And again, watching Matt Stafford. And I'll tell you something about Sam Darnold. It was like that first half was so bad. And he was awful. And it would be very easy for him to say, boy, here we go again. But he didn't. He came out the second half and he played stride for stride with Stafford, who I think should be the MVP of the league this year. So it was a classic way to start this weekend. I think the Bears-Packers, even though the Bears have lost to Dunze and is going to be out this game, a couple of their receivers, they've got some issues injury-wise, and the Packers aren't going to have Josh Jacobs. I mean, that game's going to be at Soldier Field. It's going to be almost as good as the Seattle and the Rams, because in Soldier Field, those Chicago fans are hungry. And this is the game that can put them over the top and say, okay, we are a legitimate team to beat in this thing. So that game's exciting, that's going to be on Saturday night up against Oregon and James Madison, I think. So I think that, that Oregon James Madison game's not going to be watched by that many if the Packers.
No. Well, it's funny. A year ago, you and I were doing this. And if you remember, college football went up against the NFL on the Sunday. And you said, we'll know by the ratings we'll know next year if they do it again, who won this ratings battle. I think we found out. They're not playing on Sunday. The NFL crushed them in the ratings last year.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen in this, because the Bear-Packer game is an intriguing game, because the Packers are probably as close to the Cowboys as being America's team. The Packers and the Bears, the Bears fans everywhere in the Midwest. So that game is going to be very, very intriguing to NFL fans. And Oregon James Madison will hold your interest maybe, maybe James Madison's going to play great. I just can't see them playing the schedule they played and then going into Autzen Stadium where, again, they've lost a game. They lost a game. They lost to Indiana. Oregon did. So But Indiana came back to show they're the best team in the country right now. So I think they're going to be up tough against the Packers and the Bears, because that's another great game. I just think that's a must-watch TV. If you're a football fan, that game, the Bears and Packers, it'll be as good as that game was last night. And it's hard to be as good as that game was last night, because that was, anybody who didn't like that game, it can't be a football fan. I mean, it had everything, and just the way that Matthew Stafford is throwing the football, and Sam Darnold for that matter. Sam made some bad plays, no doubt about it, but he came back and he made that throw he made to Barner for the go ahead touchdown, throwing back across the field, and was just that's just a big time play by any quarterback. So again, great quarterbacks make great football, and it's that way in every league. In our league, it's the same way. When our quarterbacks are healthy, and then they're, our league is great. And that's the key to the whole thing. You can keep your quarterbacks healthy.
902-518-3033 is the text line if you have questions or comments for Jim Barker. Before I switch this around to the CFL, you were just in Vegas. I don't know if you heard much talk about the Raiders. I know you were around doing family time, but what I'm saying, maybe you saw it earlier, is if your team is out of it, like the Raiders, Dolphins, Cowboys are about to be, but for the Raiders themselves, what are they going to do? Because you got a quarterback and a coach on the on the 18th green of their career. You can't bring them back, I don't think. What are you doing if you're the Las Vegas Raiders?
Unfortunately, I'm hearing that they're going to blow it up again, and they're going to, restart, and who's going to be the coach, who's going to direct it, I have no idea, but the word I'm hearing around town from those in the cigar bar are that it's going to be blown up again, and that Pete Carroll was not the answer, and that where they're going to go with that him, I don't know. It's sad. I mean, they fired Chip Kelly, and I don't think they've scored a point since. I mean, they're just an awful football team right now for a lot of reasons. So, again, I think when you look at the teams that are competing, that's why it's great to watch Jacksonville competing and Shad Khan, having a team do that. Because you look at teams like the Raiders and you look at teams like Arizona, and some of those teams with, Mr. Bidwell in Arizona and Mark Davis in Las Vegas, there comes a point where you say there's a problem with the organization, because they're just not making a run, and both teams are at the bottom of their divisions, and so much, and we talk about it a lot on this show. It's organization top down that creates winning environments. And you look at Philadelphia, and they're solid because they're strong at the top. Jeffrey Lurie has brought in, Howie Roseman, and they've maintained consistency. With the Steelers, they haven't won it, but they're in the playoffs, and they're consistent every year. So ownership is a big thing, and I think that Vegas is in blow up mode again, and it's just hard to look forward when you have a team that plays so poorly in the first year of a 4-year-old coach. I'm not sure what Pete is, but I believe he's in his middle 70s. So I think that's a situation, but you have to look around and say, okay, who's going to be that coach? And the big rumor, who everybody wants, is John Gruden. Who will win that battle, Roger Goodell, or
if Gruden wins
it's sad to think about.
If Gruden wins it, it'll be the first time ever that the commissioner doesn't win a pissing match against anybody.
You're probably right.
Right,
probably
exactly.
Right.
By the way, Rob in Las Vegas is watching. He says, last night's game reminded me of a CFL finish. Ted in Red Deer writes in, he says, the Seahawks are a super resilient team, never out of it. I guess we should wind this up on the CFL. Life's changed a bit for you now. You're back on the front lines, which is where you belong. We joke about being a media guy, of course, but you're back on the front lines with the Argos. How's life changed the last couple of weeks for you?
Well, it's very, very busy because I've been preparing for the last 4 months. I go through and I know everybody who's trying out for NFL teams, and now I'm able to watch film of those players. That's what I've been doing since 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. I'm taking each position group, watching film of players that are available out there, trying to find all the players that are on our negotiation list, and watching film on them. Do I want to keep them? Do I want to take them off? And that type of thing. So it's a lot of catching up. And then I've got some young guys that I'm bringing in that we're going to be going out to the All-Star games in Florida in January. Now, some of those are in big danger. Hula Bowl may fold for the first time. And I remember the Hula Bowl when I was a kid, when it was in Hawaii. Now it's in Florida. I got word today that there's potential they may not be playing. So, but trying to get all that organized with the young guys, I'm trying to teach them how you scout a camp. How do you scout when you go to watch an all-star game? What do you do during practice? What do you want to get out of it at the end, and things along those lines. So it's a lot of teaching them. My goal is that, in 2, 3, 4 years, that when I'm ready to step away and just do your show, and that'll be my life, that that they'll have the best front office in the CFL. So pinball's been great and very supportive, and John Huffnagel is I've talked to him a few times on the phone about different players and things. So the whole functionality has been beautiful, and we'll see. You don't know until we go to training camp in May and start playing games. That's when you find out whether what you're doing now pays off. But it's a lot of work. To do it right, it's a lot of work and a lot of grinding, and that's what I've done my whole life, and I've missed that. I've missed. The only thing I had to look forward to was 1:20 Eastern every Friday when I got to be on your show and air all my bitches. It was that's been the fantastic part, and I'm just excited we get to keep doing it for whenever we can.
Grateful to you, grateful to the Argos for making that available for as much as we can do it, because we love it. The viewers love it, and I know for a fact, because people tell me they're blowing up your phone right after you're on, because they tell me they're calling you and they're texting you and all the rest. So that's really fantastic.
Yesterday, I have to tell the fans that are watching this show. Yesterday, I texted you. I'm so engulfed in this stuff. I was watching film, and I looked at my watch, and it was 2:00. And I go, I missed Rod's show. I thought it was Friday. So I called, I sent you an apology, and I'm sorry. I just, time got away from, and you said, well, it's not till tomorrow, Jim. So exactly. That's kind of what my life is like right now.
I took that as a good thing, though. I'm like, you're a day ahead. It's all good. Yeah, which I think is what I said. I said you're good, and you are good. Well, Jim, Merry Christmas. I'm not sure about next week. I go one day at a time, as you know, but glad to have you today. It's awesome. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the ball.
All right. Thanks, Rod. Talk to you guys later.
You betcha. Jim Barker of the Toronto Argonauts joining us on a Football Friday. We'll be back with a sports update and your comments the rest of the way. You're watching across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and right here on Game Plus TV.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Happy holidays. All right, it's a football Friday. We roll into Deal or No Deal. Our good friend Gunny Highways with us. Joe 747 Gunnis from the Ratio Podcast. Gunny, you ready to play a little Deal or No Deal for NFL Week 16?
Let's do it.
Let's go, baby. Okay, well, you had the wild one last night. Everybody had that wrong. For those that don't know, I give the point spreads. Joe decides whether he's going to take the bet or not. So we start Saturday afternoon, Philadelphia, at your Washington Commanders. Are they still your Washington Commanders?
They will always be, no matter what.
Okay. Eagles favored by 6.5. Are you taking it or are you not taking it?
Taking it.
You're taking the bet? Yeah, me too. And then the classic game of the weekend, Green Bay at Chicago. Prime time, Soldier Field, Bears by 1.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
I think I'll take that deal too. Buffalo at Cleveland, the Bills favored by 10.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal on that one.
Oh, no deal. I'm taking it. I think it's going to be a shabakaling, to quote Henry Burris. LA Chargers at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
Gonna say no deal on that as well.
Yeah, I'm not. We'll lose. New York Jets at the New Orleans Saints. Saints favored by 6. Deal or no deal?
Let's take the deal because, yeah, that's a nothing burger.
Yeah, well, yeah, some are, some aren't. This one is, this is Tampa Bay at Carolina. NFC South lead is on the line. Buccaneers favored by 3 in Carolina. Deal or no deal?
I'm going to take the deal.
I think I will too. Minnesota Vikings at the New York Giants. Vikes favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
Deal on that too.
Kansas City Chiefs, me as well. Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans. 2 teams. That's 2 teams out of the playoffs. But the Chiefs are favored by 3. And Mahomes, of course, out for the year. Deal or no deal? Chiefs by 3 at Tennessee.
No deal on there. No deal. Not without Mahomes, no.
Okay. I'm going to take the deal because I think the Chiefs could win with your mom at quarterback. Wouldn't that be something? Cincinnati.
That would be something. And the money would be good too.
Cincinnati at Miami. The Bengals are favored by 4. Deal or no deal?
That's a deal. Miami's a dumpster fire.
Yes. Okay. I'm same with you on that. Jacksonville at Denver. This is a sneaky good one too. Trevor Lawrence coming off the game of his life. Broncos favored by 3.5 at home. Deal or no deal?
Deal, because they're at home for sure.
Me too. Atlanta Falcons at the Arizona Cardinals. Another downer game, but the Falcons are favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
I'll take the deal on that one.
Times 2. Las Vegas at Houston. The Texans are favored by 14 points. Deal or no deal?
I'm going to say no deal.
That's a lot, isn't it? No deal from Joe, but I'm taking the deal. Yeah. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are favored by 7. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
I'll take it. New England at Baltimore. The Ravens, who are out of a playoff spot currently, are favored by 3. Patriots coming off that big loss at home over the Bills. Ravens by 3. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
No deal from him. I'm taking it. And San Francisco at Indianapolis. Deal or no deal? San Francisco favored by 6. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
He's taken the deal. Oh, you not a Phillip Rivers believer? Okay, I got you. I'm with you. By the way, I'm taking it. Less than a minute. Joe, how's the weekend looking for you up there? I hear you're having a bit of a snow day.
Oh, it's snowing and raining. He doesn't know what it wants to do. Coaching some volleyball on the weekend, and that's about it. So, and the same old, same old. How about you?
I got 2 Florida Panthers games tonight. One tonight, home to Carolina. I don't know who they're home to on Saturday, but I know that I'll be at it. Well, Joe, thanks for this. I didn't tell the world that you're joining us from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. So thanks for your time. Thanks for all you do. And this has been fun. Enjoy the weekend and the games, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Have a great weekend.
We'll be coming right back with Overtime, everybody. A wrapper on the day, the week, and a sports update. We'll be right back on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Okay. Hope you're ready for the weekend, everybody. I know I am. And it's time for overtime for our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. This makes me so happy that so many of you have been heading down there, saying hey to Randy and Michelle. Thank you. Dropping the name, the RP Show. Still time to get down there. I know the kids are on Christmas holidays. There's the player development camps. There's the classes that they have, shooting classes they have, but they have the drop-in. They have the drop-in. So next week when the kids are driving you nuts on this Christmas holiday, why don't you take advantage of that? 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. You can call ahead and book your spot too. Just ask for Randy and Michelle and tell them you heard us talking about them here on the RP Show. An amusement park for hockey players. What could be better than that? Okay, a sports update on this Friday. The Kansas City Chiefs are close to moving from Arrowhead Stadium in Missouri to a new stadium in Kansas. The Legislative Coordinating Council plans to meet Monday in Topeka, Kansas, to consider funding up to 70% of the project. The Chiefs and Kansas City Royals have played in Missouri for over 50 years, but their lease expires in January of 2031. Tua Tagovailoa could be the NFL's next quarterback reclamation project. Now that he's been benched by the Dolphins, Tua's future in Miami is uncertain. The Dolphins will take a look at rookie 7th-round pick Quinn Ewers over the final 3 games. They haven't won a playoff game since January of 2001. That's not a typo. The longest drought in the NFL. Tua hasn't lived up to the $212.4 million 4-year contract extension he signed after leading the NFL in passing back in 2023. Is this big news for you? It's all over the sports wires, not just here in South Florida. Miami Hurricane sophomore forward Marcus Allen has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma and will miss the rest of the season. The school announced his diagnosis this morning after routine medical tests. Allen, a Miami native, started his college career at Missouri before joining the Hurricanes this year. Miami coach Jay Lucas praised Allen's toughness and selflessness, saying the team will support him. Tough news coming out of the U. The sports update's proudly presented by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store in Moose Jaw. Get your game day gear in store or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. What do you got the rest of the way, everybody? Just a few minutes left here on this program today and for the week as we rock and roll into the weekend. By the way, we will be here pretty much all of next week except for Christmas Day and Boxing Day. But we'll be on the air Monday recapping this hopefully wild week 16 in the NFL with some tremendous football games ahead if last night was any indication. Brent tunes in from the Bridge City. He says, I hope the Detroit Lions D-line can get to Aaron Rodgers and disrupt their offense. I hope our banged-up O-line gives Goff and company time to make the offense work. Great weekend for sports ahead. Enjoy, Rod. Yeah, we did our NHL picks last hour, by the way. There are 5 games tonight in the National Hockey League, including one here in Sunrise, which I'm very excited to get to. Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. You'd think these teams would hate each other more given their playoff wars, but who really hates Carolina? Nobody. A lot of people hate the Panthers, I can tell you that. Wayne in Winnipeg writes in, he says, the Rams went into the tank after the Shaheed punt return. It was the turning point. Then Stafford getting hit a few times got him rattled. Other teams will be taking this in. Yeah, thanks, Coach. Oh, Wayne says, does anybody know why the Hula Bowl is now played in Florida and not Honolulu? I'll tell you something. Google and AI ruined a lot of things, particularly people like John Frenzy, my old cohort and mentor in this broadcast. He was so full of it. And for years, he got away with it until Google came out, and then he couldn't get away with anything. It's working the opposite for me. I could tell you that I knew the answer to your question, Wayne Werbavetsky, but I just went to Google in the break and AI. Do you know why the Hula Bowl is not in Hawaii anymore and it's moved to Florida? Because Hawaii didn't want it anymore. That's why. I could sit here and go, oh, I know. But I don't. But there's a little thing called Google. You should try it out. Well, and also Jeff the Stamps fan says Aloha Stadium is condemned. There's that too. But the game was dormant from 2008 to 2016. And then they tried to revive it and move it to North Carolina. That fell through, and it's been in Florida since, 2019? Hawaii just basically didn't want it. That's the long and the short of it. Yeah, we have not talked about this, Ted and Red Deer. And by the way, where have you been? Ted and Red Deer writes in. Ted. He says, I don't know if you talked about it, but Bama legend Nick Saban is now a Nashville Predators owner. Yeah, I feel like they'll let anybody in there. And I say that somewhat facetiously. Brett Wilson is a good friend of mine in the ownership group of the Nashville Predators from North Battleford, Saskatchewan, and a famous star of the Dragon's Den. I'll tell you one thing. I loved my time in Calgary. You know that, Ted, because you and I spent some time together at Century Downs Casino. And Brett Wilson, I ran into Brett Wilson all the time. I don't know how that was. Maybe it's just because we're two Sask boys. He's a great dude, and he's in the Predators ownership group now, along with Nick Saban. That's the one thing that I wish more leagues would do, is bring in celebrity owners like that. Like here with the Dolphins, people have been talking a lot about Stephen Ross, the owner of the team, and while he's got the majority, he's also got Venus Williams in there, Serena Williams in there, Mark Anthony in there, which means nothing to me, and probably not you either, but it's Mark with a C, and he used to be married to Jennifer Lopez. That gets your attention. So, yeah, well, I don't know. If I owned a team, I would be bringing in all the celebs I could. Or be like Jerry Jones and own it all and say, screw y'all. And see how that's working out. Anyways, I'm not going to end the week on a downer talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Thank you to Kevin the Medium from the Hughes Sports Podcast. Check out their show. It's fantastic. Thank you to Jim Barker, Joe 747 Gunnis, our entire crew. Merry Christmas. Be safe, especially on those icy roads, if that is in your purview, everybody. And we will do it all again. Whoa! Time to go. We'll see you Monday here on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
Dad.